The story begins with two Hare siblings, Lapin and Peter, who find an ancient tomb in an unknown location. The two brothers find that they are not the first to arrive. However, their competitors have been eaten by a crocodile. They enter the tomb, and after eluding some traps, they finally find the item they are looking for, an artifact called the Hamster of Darkness, which happens to be the greatest artifact in the world. However, when Lapin, the older brother, picks up the artifact, his moment of joy is short-lived as the tomb starts to collapse and the artifact turns to dust. The two brothers make their escape, and Lapin is frustrated about not being able to find the artifact he had been searching for a long time. However, just then, the brothers hear the cry of a baby, and they trace it to the boat by the riverbank left by their competitors. There they find a baby chicken-hare hybrid, and thanks to the younger brother, Peter's compassion, he decides to keep the baby. Peter takes chicken-hare to his home and decides to raise him there. As chicken-hare grows up, he sees how everyone in the town admires his father, and decides that he wants to grow up to be an adventurer. Just like his father, he becomes obsessed with adventure and spends hours reading with the help of his turtle servant Abe. It's the day of the tryouts, and Chicken-hare is excited to watch the games with his father, who has become king. He decides to sit with his peers in the audience to get a closer view, but when he gets there, he overhears them making fun of him for being a hybrid. Upset by this, Chicken-hare becomes disinterested in the tryouts and runs to his room. Chicken-hare has grown older, and he decides to wear boots that make it look like he has normal hare feet. But when his father discovers him, he tries to talk Chicken-hare out of it, saying that what makes him different is what makes him special. But Chicken-hare doesn't want to be special. Instead, he wants to be normal. Understanding his pain, his father decides to overlook it, letting Chicken-hare do what he wants. And so, determined to make it to the Royal Adventurer Society, Chicken-hare makes his way to the tryouts with his hat that covers the feathers growing from his head and his boots to cover his chicken legs. Because of this, Chicken-hare performs terribly in the tryouts, tripping on his feet and losing his balance throughout the game, making him look bad before the judges and the audience. Backstage, his peers make fun of him and Abe tries to comfort him, but Chicken-hare remains despondent. Back in his room, Chicken-hare is feeling depressed about being a hybrid. Just then, his father walks in and wants to talk about what happened at the tryouts. Trying to look unaffected, Chicken-hare says he would train harder for the next tryouts. But his father reveals to him that the audition cannot be taken twice, and he cannot bend the rules because he's the king. He then proceeds to comfort Chicken-hare, saying Chicken-hare is the greatest treasure he ever found. The following day, Chicken-hare seemed excited about something. Dragging along his friend Abe, he hurries down to the library. He decides that if he cannot make it to the Royal Adventurer Society through conventional means, then he will try to find the one thing every adventurer has tried and failed to find, which is none other than the Hamster of Darkness. Grabbing as many books as he can, Chicken-hare tries to find clues. He's onto something, but a few clues seem to be missing. He tries to get the original texts from the librarian so he can find what he's missing. However, the librarian reveals that the original texts are with his uncle Lapin. That night, Chicken-hare and Abe visit the prison cell where Lapin was locked away for trying to take over the throne by force. Abe decides that visiting a prison cell is not a part of his job description, so he leaves Chicken-hare to visit Lapin alone. The prison guards guide Chicken-hare to the cell where Lapin is being held, warning him not to give Lapin any object as the cunning inmate could use anything to his advantage. Chicken-hare finally comes face to face with his uncle, and after a not-so-welcoming reunion, Chicken-hare gets down to business, asking for the original texts of the book he was looking for. But Lapin reads him like a book, revealing that Chicken-hare wanted to find the Hamster of Darkness, so he would be accepted into the Royal Adventurer Society. Chicken-hare tries to deny this, but it's no use. Lapin proceeds to taunt the boy, pretending like he's going to give him the book. Scared of his uncle's ploys, Chicken-hare runs out of the prison without anything to show for his visit. Unknown to Chicken-hare, who is now in bed back at home, Lapin had plucked out one of the feathers growing from his head. With that feather, Lapin frees himself and the other inmates of the prison, making his escape. The following morning, Lapin's escape is discovered, and the king is upset with Chicken-hare for visiting his uncle. Getting some clues from the scene, and with the help of Chicken-hare's knowledge base, they discover Lapin's plans and where he is headed. The king gets ready to make pursuit, and when Chicken-hare asks to tag along, the king doesn't let him, saying he'd done enough already. However, Chicken-hare is not giving up. He stays in the prison cell and finds a map. Picking up on some clues, Chicken-hare discovers the real location where his uncle Lapin is headed. Realizing that his father is heading in the wrong direction, Lapin makes pursuit to inform him. However, it's too late as the king has already set sail. Chicken-hare decides to stop Lupin alone, and after convincing his friend Abe to tag along, they finally set sail on a miniature boat. Chicken-hare is excited to be on an adventure, but he doesn't realize that a bird who was one of the inmates is watching them. The bird flies to Lapin's boat and warns him about his nephew, and Lapin cooks up a plan to get rid of Chicken-hare. Chicken Hair and Abe get to an island where he leads them into a bar to find a guide. However, Chicken Hair and Abe run into some trouble with some thugs hired by Lapin. But thanks to a female skunk named Meg, and after a rather messy fight, Chicken Hair and Abe safely escape the bar unscathed. Chicken Hair and Abe hire Meg as their tour guide, and she leads them through the dangerous desert of death. Along the way, Meg gets chatty with the pair and offers to be their guide for free provided they let her join them on their adventure. Abe is skeptical and asks what's in it for her, and Meg reveals that she'd been rather lonely as an adventurer, being a skunk. After casually showing her usefulness by dislodging some desert traps, Chicken Hair and Abe are convinced that she'd prove very useful, and they accept her offer to join their adventure. But just as they are crossing a river on their way, Lapin's unsuspecting bird is watching the entire proceeding. The bird reports the situation to Lapin, who is then unhappy about it. Then he orders his underlings to destroy the bridge so that Chicken Hair and his companions are forced to go around the quicksand, which would take them at least a week. Chicken Hair, Abe, and Meg make it to the broken bridge. However, they are dismayed to find that it's been broken. Meg suggests that they go around, which would take them about a week, but Chicken Hair objects, saying they do not have that much time, and that his uncle would have obtained the Hamster of Darkness by then. He suggests that they go across, but Abe objects to it, saying it's guaranteed that they won't make it. But Meg agrees to Chicken Hair's plan, saying they can make it across if they stick to the solid paths. Meg leads the group through the quicksand, but along the way, Chicken Hair gets distracted and finds himself stuck. Abe tries to help but is sinking as well. Thanks to some quick thinking, Meg saves Abe using her whip, but when she tries saving Chicken Hair with it, his hair boots come off and his cover is blown. After saving the group, Meg is amazed by Chicken Hair's rarity and can't stop staring. She's distracted and won't stop asking questions. But the group doesn't realize when they walk into a trap and get shot with tranquilizer darts. Chicken Hair and the gang are taken to a local pig village and are introduced to the boss of the village. Meg tries to cook up a story to get them freed, but this only lands the group in bigger trouble, as the boss decides to sacrifice them to their god by throwing them into a volcano by dawn. They get locked away, and Chicken Hair feels depressed, but Meg tries to encourage him by telling him a story about her younger self. As a child, Meg was ashamed of her uniqueness because nobody wanted to be friends with a skunk. She corked herself and channeled all her energy into martial arts. Then one day, when her friends at school get locked in a bank vault, her uniqueness as a skunk is what saves the day. Chicken Hair gets slightly motivated by her story, and together they devise a plan to escape using Chicken Hair's feathers. The group successfully escapes their hold, but just then, Chicken Hair spots his hat and jacket with the sleeping pig boss. Meg tells him not to go after it, but he wouldn't listen. Using a tree branch, Chicken Hair tries to stealthily retrieve his items, but he fails, falling on top of the pig boss. Luckily, the boss is still asleep, and Chicken Hair makes his way back towards his friends. But just as he climbs down the stack of pigs, he unwittingly alerts them, waking the angry pig boss. Luckily, Abe is ahead of them and grabs the god of the pigs, holding it hostage. However, he soon loses that advantage, and the group gets chased down by the pigs. During the chase, Chicken Hair gets separated from Meg and Abe. Using her special skunk ability, Meg shakes off their pursuers. Meanwhile, Chicken Hair is trapped by the pig army. The pig boss is about to shoot him down, but just then, in a moment of desperation, he awakens his chicken wings and successfully evades the pig's onslaught. He meets up with Meg and Abe, but they get cornered by the pig army, and after an unsuccessful attempt at escaping, the group falls into the chasm beneath. They quickly recover from the fall and head toward the mountain to retrieve the Hamster of Darkness before Lapin. Back at Lupin's camp, the bird reports that Chicken Hair and his friends are taking a shortcut to the Hamster of Darkness. Unable to believe his ears, Lupin grabs a monocular and spots Chicken Hair in the distance. An idea forms in his mind, and he orders his underlings to grab the dynamite. They explode the dynamite on a snow cap, but instead of working against Chicken Hair and his friends, the plan inadvertently works against Lupin and his underlings, supposedly burying them in snow. Chicken Hair and his friends make it up the mountain and find the location of the 3 deadly trials, which is the last hurdle before they reach the temple of the Hamster of Darkness. Abe tries to dissuade them from going any further, but Chicken Hair disagrees, and with Meg on board with him, they head over to the 3 deadly trials. They make it to the first trial where the walls are closing down on them unless they solve the riddle. Thanks to Chicken Hair's quick thinking, he finds the meaning behind the riddle and saves the group. In the second trial, the group is being chased down by a giant disc, but yet again, Chicken Hair's quick thinking helps them solve the trial. The third and final trial is unexpectedly simple, and after performing the required action, the group successfully makes it past the 3 deadly trials and comes face to face with a scepter lodged in ice. Chicken Hair pulls out the Hamster of Darkness from the ice, but just then, his uncle Lupin enters the scene, taking Chicken Hair's friends hostage. He reveals how he tricked Chicken Hair into thinking he and his underlings had been buried under the snow, making Chicken Hair pass the 3 deadly trials for him. After forcefully grabbing the scepter from Chicken Hair, Lapin proceeds to activate it. He binds Chicken Hair and his friends, throwing them into the chilly chasm below. Meanwhile, back at home, Peter's father had returned after discovering that Lupin had tricked them. He warns the people, telling them to take shelter. Getting to Chicken Hair's room, he sees his son's letter where Chicken Hair reveals that he had gone to stop his uncle from reaching the Hamster of Darkness. At the same time, Chicken Hair and his friends are feeling trapped and starting to despair. Abe makes a comment about Chicken Hair being different, and when Chicken Hair expresses his displeasure, saying he wishes to be normal, Meg berates him and gets him motivated about being special. Getting a little too motivated, he grabs the rope from Meg, jumps off the cliff, and unleashes his feathered wings, soaring to the other end of the chasm. Meg and Abe are surprised by this, and together, the 3 friends make their way out of the mountains. Meg says that Lupin would be too far away to catch, but just then, Abe dismantles his shell, and the group uses it as a sled which helps them quickly catch up to Lupin. Back at the castle, a report reaches the king that Lupin is at the gates and requests to see him. Peter indulges Lupin, meeting him by the access bridge. He requests for his son, Chicken Hair, but Lupin reveals that he had thrown Chicken Hair off a cliff and should be long frozen by now. Angered by this, Peter engages Lupin in battle, and Lupin unleashes the power of his scepter. By the time Chicken Hair and his friends reach the castle, Lupin has already taken over. Together with his friends, Chicken Hair comes up with a plan to stop Lupin. Using Abe's shell, they break into the hall where Peter is being held captive. Using her skunk stink, Meg disorients the hamsters, giving Chicken Hair the chance to steal back the scepter from Lupin. He tries to command the hamsters, but they won't listen to him. Lupin mocks him, saying the hamsters would only listen to the one by whose hands they were released. But Peter counters Lupin, saying that if the scepter were to be destroyed, Lupin would lose his control. Quickly, Chicken Hair makes his way to the tryout stadium. He plans to throw the scepter into the pit. However, things don't go as easily as he planned. The hamsters form into one giant hamster and chase him down. Lupin doesn't rest either, and gets Chicken Hair trapped in the obstacle course. Chicken Hair evades the obstacles more expertly than the last time, but the hamsters give chase. Lupin's bird underling tries to grab the scepter as well and wrestles with Chicken Hair for it. Meanwhile, Peter, who had successfully freed himself, enters the scene. He and Lupin engage in a sword battle. Just then, Meg and Abe enter the scene. They see Lupin and Peter in battle, while Chicken Hair is covered with swarming hamsters. Struggling himself free, Chicken Hair tosses the scepter into the pit which Peter had helped him open, but unfortunately, the net that had saved Chicken Hair during his failed tryouts was still there, making it easy for Lupin's bird underling to grab it. Just as Lupin is about to finish off Peter, Meg intervenes to save the king. Thanks to Chicken Hair's quick thinking, the bird drops the scepter, being attacked by an onslaught of fireworks. Lupin commands the hamsters to attack Meg and proceeds to square off with Chicken Hair. They engage in a battle for the scepter, but Lupin successfully throws Chicken Hair off the edge of the bridge. However, Chicken Hair doesn't give up so easily and grabs onto the scepter from underneath the bridge. After a moment of struggle, the bridge snaps and Lupin starts falling into the pit, but Chicken Hair grabs him, saving him from certain doom, leaving the scepter to fall into the depths of the pit. However, Lupin is rather ungrateful and forcibly tries to push Chicken Hair into the pit. Chicken Hair drops into the gloomy depths of the pit much to Lupin's delight, but shortly after, the bridge, which is now on fire, breaks, and Lupin falls alongside Chicken Hair. He grabs Chicken Hair by the wrist, ensuring that they go down together. But when a force from the scepter rushes upwards, Chicken Hair spreads his feathers and flies out of the pit, leaving Lupin to his fate. The hamsters disappear one by one, and Chicken Hair reunites with his friends and father. Peter is proud of Chicken Hair for finding his true self, and they have a heartwarming reunion. The aftermath of the destruction is taken care of, and everything returns to normal. Some time has passed, and we see the king, Chicken Hair's father, Peter, walking into Chicken Hair's room. It's time for his induction, however. Chicken Hair seems busy with other engagements. He reveals that he's found the location of another mystery item and is about to go out on another adventure with his friends, Meg and Abe. But just as he's about to leave, his father calls to him and gifts him with his golden machete. Peter is proud of his son, and they share an embrace before he sends him off on his adventure. Chicken Hair spreads his feathered ears and arms and takes to the sky. The townsfolk stare at him in admiration, and Chicken Hair revels in it. The story ends when Chicken Hair joins Meg and Abe on the ground as they prepare to leave for another adventurous journey.